So a guy came up to me the other night, right? And he was like, who is your favorite artist of all times? And like most people do when they ask you a question, he didn't really care about my answer and proceeded to tell me what he thought the true answer was. And he continued to struggle to recognize who was the greatest of all times. And he said, is it Shakespeare? Is it Frost, Picasso, Michelangelo, the Beatles, Remnant, Michael Jackson, Beethoven? And he went on and on and on, not recognizing even his infrastructure to answer that question was misled and outdated. So I finally kindly smiled and told him, sir, you have asked me who's the greatest of all times. You have tried to share yours, so let me share mine, because there's no debate about who's the greatest, because all the other artists you've mentioned here, the greatest made them. And seeing this artist is a beast, a lion, the name above names. You don't realize it yet, you experience his art every day, and he deserves all the acclaim, he deserves all the fame, because all the other artists you've mentioned passed away, but he remains. Oh, by the way, his name is God, Yahweh, Creator, your Maker. He's infinitely creative. Sir, there's no one greater. And I can tell it looks like you're starting to get mad at me. Don't be jealous just because your favorite artist might bend words and my favorite artist bends galaxies. See, in the palm of his hands, he holds all the science, the out of life when he whispered, let us make man. See, what if I told you, you are God's poetry? You are created because someone else was creative. See, long time ago, he took out his eternal paintbrush, dipped in his glory, placed us in his story and said, they will live for me. And I know it sounds outlandish, but you're not the product of random chances. In fact, you're not the vines, we're actually the branches. In the same way, we're not the artists, we're actually the canvas. But in an instant, God started making art, shaped uniquely and beautiful individual from the start. And he touched the canvas of flesh and said, this one will be better than the rest. I'll give him so much of my image, so even when the hot of the press, you can still see the steam of my breath. And so he crafted and made every arms, leg, ligament, tendons, muscles, veins, blood vessels, arteries, and said, they'll have a part of me. And by that time, that guy butted in back and said, that sounds good and all, but I'm wretched and filthy. God won't use me, will he? And I said, that's what's awesome about God. No matter what you have done, he can still use us. Even though when other artists break an equipment, they start making excuses, God does not refuse us. Neither does he accuse us. He redeems us in Jesus. Promises never to lose us. So stop saying you're dirt. Stop saying you're scum of the earth. You ought to be careful about how you speak to someone else's work. Because if we trusted in Jesus, we can stop saying you're filthy and all that is just pride, cloth, and false humility. But we believe we are created in his image and likeness. We can stop saying you're wretch, filthy, guilty, shameful. If we still trust in Jesus, we're righteous. I mean, don't you see how we are drawn close to repentance just because of his kindness? So how dare you say you're worthless, and yet he says you're priceless? But the best part is, since God is ultimately for God, he'll get the glory out of you whether you like it or not. All I'm trying to say is, behind it all, so why are we still insisting on not giving him a credit at all? I mean, he was the one that gave Van Gogh the imagination that changed the face of painting. Tell me, who's responsible for Mozart? To compose at the age of 5 without formal training. I mean, he made the fingers that Beethoven used to make art on the keys, for Pete's sake. He made Steve Wonder one of the best musicians of our time, and he couldn't even see. And that's why in the same way our lives has borrowed time. This poem has borrowed lines, because the most ridiculous statement you could ever say is that this poem is mine. Because we are not self-sustaining, we are not self-creating, technically nothing is original, we are just imitating, and that's not a diss. All I'm trying to say is this: even our own creativity is nothing more than the outflow of his. And I'll end with this. You know the quote that says, giving credit where credit is due? Then if that's the truth, you ought to give God his rightful credit too, because God is in the business of making everything new. And here's the truth: he's not through in making a masterpiece of you. Thank you.